And welcome back, everyone, to another Aloha Pools and Spas Deep Dive Podcast. I'm your host, John Watts, along with, today, we've got every seat filled, I think for the first time on the podcast, Brad Cook.
That's me.
Jamie Worrell, and Larry Esri. And Larry's been on before with us, and we just had Jamie on for the first time. The last show or two, whatever we are, if you're listening at home, playing along at home.
Larry was on the other day, right? Or did I miss that?
Yeah, he was. He was the third one we did.
That's right.
And we talked all about basically your pool makeover.
And just keep in mind, don't be intimidated by his voice. He does this for a living, so we don't have to sound as good as John. All right.
Well,
if we were singing, it'd be a whole different ball game.
So,
Jamie's quite confident in his ability to out-sing everybody here, everybody in this county. I'll have you know.
I can't sing for anything. I can talk, and that's it. I can sing. I was telling him earlier, the one thing I can sing.
I think you could probably be a bass singer.
Is stuff like
he probably could, yeah.
Barry White,
right.
Or like a Christmas song. You're a mean one. Mr. Grinch,
yeah.
Maybe something like that. But that's about it.
No, you would nail that. Yeah. I'd actually karaoke that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we'll do that sometime.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Is it nasty wasty or nasty wasty?
What we're talking about today is pools. Of course. Why else would we be here? And Larry owns a pool. Brad owns a pool. Jamie, you own a pool, and I grew up with a pool. I do not currently own a pool because I just moved here and I bought a house without a pool.
Would you like to buy one? I'm always on the...
I filled out that form online because I'm the marketing guy, so I wanted to see where things go. And Larry, since I've got here, I've been getting messages from Larry about buying a pool.
They always go to Larry.
He's hitting you up.
And I walked in there the other day. I was like, Larry, I work here. He's like, well, that doesn't matter. Do you want to buy a pool? So
he's good at his job.
Eventually, yes, we will do that. But I guess, we want to talk about our experiences as pool owners and working at Aloha, how that affects us and yada yada, all of that.
So the most interesting one to me is this guy comes to us a few years before he ever considered working here, and he came to buy a pool, and whenever he decided he wanted to try his hand at working here, I thought, heck yeah, because he's going to be my buyer, because he'd come in and he'd negotiate and he'd nickel it and dime and all that, and I thought, man, I need somebody sharp like this guy on my side, and so he was a customer, and it actually was a pretty good customer. I probably shouldn't say that, but there's some good customers, and there's some that people that are a little bit testy, and he always held you to, he held you accountable. But he also was pretty good to work with the whole time too. So
I appreciate that.
What'd you do before this, Larry?
Well, I actually worked for an industrial automation company called Rockwell Automation. It's a global company that's got 65% of the U.S. market in automation.
The only Rockwell I know was in the shower wondering if someone was watching him.
I think I know what you're talking about there. Yeah. I always feel like.
Oh.
Yeah, that was Rockwell.
I thought it was Michael Jackson.
Well, no, he was the one that said, in the middle of it. I don't even remember.
He had a cameo. Michael Jackson.
He sang the background to it. So I always feel like somebody's watching me.
And I get no privacy. I really thought that was
he had a part in that. I don't remember it right now because it's late in the day, and I haven't had enough blueberries to up my cognitive ability.
And we digress.
So I was just curious, because how long have you been with Aloha?
Beginning my 6th year.
Okay, so you were a customer first. And then, but did you already have a pool and then had it refurbished? Because that's what we talked about a little bit last time.
No, but the first pool I purchased, we had an old in-ground pool, and sitting around, my wife and I guess it was Memorial Day, Labor Day, one of the holidays, and said, "Hey, let's go to Aloha and talk pools." So,
all right.
And the pool he got still makes the brochure. Every few years we will kind of bring the newer ones in and phase some of the other ones out. But the one he got was a really good-looking little Deer Creek pool with a blue step on the end of it. I remember it probably about as well as he does because it's just one of those that shows up really well in a picture. And oddly enough, when you go and look at a pool in person, they all look good, and then some of them, when you see them in pictures, you think, that's not gonna make the brochure.
Right.
And that's kind of like one with the white coping. At one time I did this is a tangent a little bit, but it's pool tangent. So I did this beautiful sunburst liner. It had all the terracottas and everything that you see in pea gravel, and then it had the blues that you see in the ocean. And the terracottas were at the top, close to the pea gravel, and then the blues were down in the water where the water is, and then there was this white strip of aluminum coping going around. Very functional, very no nonsense, very sensible shoes. And when you walk up on it outside, you're outside and you walk up on the pool and you look at it like, that's a good looking pool. I love that liner, and that pea gravel is popping, looks great. And then when you see it on the brochure, that you see that white wall tire going around the pool, and it's a beautiful pool. I hate that it's just something about that picture. I think it's kind of like when you look in the mirror, you think, I don't look that bad. I'm okay. And then when you look at a picture, you're like, dang. So same thing. I didn't make the brochure either, so if that tells you anything. Then you had your pool refurbed. We talked about that.
Second pool, I did.
Yeah.
How long did you own the first pool before you decided to change it up?
Well, we actually sold that property.
Oh, okay. So that makes sense.
Then I inherited the pool from Hale, and we looked at it for several years and decided, hey, it's time. So
Gotcha.
So that was and you bought that, and that was an Aloha pool that we built several years ago?
Yeah.
No?
I think so.
No.
It wasn't?
Absolutely was not. No, it's just one of those telltale signs. I thought you knew that.
I didn't know that you did not build that pool.
No, remember the plumbing. You can look at the plumbing and tell that we didn't build that pool. Because you were always complaining about it not
that's good to know that you don't build pools like that, Brad.
No, I mean, I knew it. Now, I can't remember. A lot of times pools will have their mark on them when I can say, well, I didn't build it, but I know who did. And I'm kind of suspect of who did, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, 4-foot radius corners, one skimmer. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the things that and also some of the valving and the filtration was a little bit different.
Suspect.
So we don't have anything we don't have like the Aloha signature liner.
No, actually liners kind of go in and out like my wife's wearing cargo pants now, okay?
Okay.
But she used to make fun of me for wearing cargo pants because I took it a little out of style. But about 2 or 3 years ago, I stopped wearing them, and now 2 or 3 years later, she's wearing them. It's like it's back in now, so it may circle around. But no,
Borders,
liners,
paint, wallpaper,
liners.
Kind of
Yeah, well, it's the thing, and this vinyl liners are the same thing, which is kind of an attraction to a vinyl liner pool because you can fairly affordably remodel, much more so than remodeling your kitchen or anything. Can you remodel your vinyl pool? And as styles change, things change, and you get a chance to update it. But I could go on and on about the different types of liners over the years. It's been kind of interesting to see that evolve. But then
I was just going because you were talking about identifying the pools, and That's what I.
To some extent, yeah, but that ages out in 8 to 12 years, and then so I couldn't really tell. It had you can see a lot more about the type of coping, the way the concrete is cut or not cut, or there's some things that I can tell that I could train. I could train you or AI in about 10 minutes.
Gotcha. like the taste of the water. And
don't do. I don't taste the water.
I would have to ask Choco on that one.
Don't drink the water. No, Choco has. Yeah.
So, Jamie, pushing over to you. How long have you been a pool owner?
A pool owner for, I think this is going to be my 3rd year.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Relatively new.
See, I started with Aloha. 6 years ago.
About the same time.
Just before you. And see, I started in the service department. So for my first 6 months here, I swore up and out I'd never have a pool.
Wow.
Never have a pool. Basically because everybody that called service had issues.
Oh,
this is what's wrong. And so that's all I ever saw was in that little room. And it's just people, what's a floated liner? Oh my gosh, there's a big bubble. There's air under there. It was just all these things. This fiberglass just jumped out of the ground. And of course, I have an idea. My version of pools was going to a friend's house growing up. And then since probably just before, I guess, middle school, we stopped going over there as much. And so I just didn't. We had an above ground at our house growing up. And the fun thing was to get the current going.
Yes.
And then just see how long you could, But that was basically it. And going from that into vacations, you might get in a pool. But being in the service office and hearing the first couple of calls. Because it is.
I can't. I'm sitting over dying.
Why?
No, because I'm thinking. At what point did you think, and then at what point would you have found any relief, or would you just been pissed off even further if somebody had called up and say, "Oh, hey Jamie, I don't really want anything. I just want to call you." Tell you my pool is just fine.
Right, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that. But being new to because I wasn't a pool owner.
I just want you to know that.
Right, I wasn't a pool owner, but it's very hard to get behind the phone and have them send you a picture, and it's like, yeah, that looks bad. That we're just going to start over. I don't know what that means, but the more you learn, the easier it is to talk to people.
Quit,
but.
I quit kind of abruptly.
Oh, you mean the manager? Yeah,
service manager.
Yeah. And then my very first phone call felt like the gentlest pat on the back was Brad Cook, and I was standing in the back warehouse on the phone with him, and he says, "You're not ready for this, and this basically is probably not going to end well, but you're all I've got, so you're up." And then I walked through the door into the kitchen area that we had, and someone stopped me there and said, "Okay, you're it. Our truck in Cape just got stolen, and they have completely gutted it, and it's sitting out in the middle of a field in Cape Girardeau." Like, okay,
yeah,
great,
nice,
and that was it.
You.
But that was even that was later. That's it. That was later in the process, though, because again, sitting in the service office and hearing all of the things that can go wrong with the pool, you basically almost swear it off, especially having no dealings with a pool before. So as far as valves and what to do and turning on a pump or the priming, forget about it. Like the whole 9 yards, I was out on it. But
he's an HR guy too, just so you know.
100%. 100% come from the HR background. So people I didn't have a problem. I could de-escalate a situation, but it was hard to de-escalate when they send you a picture and they're like, does this look normal? And it's the pool out of the ground by that much. And I'm going, I don't think you should get in there. Or when I was swimming earlier, I felt a tingle. What kind of tingle? I think the pool's shocking me. What?
Oh, wow.
Perhaps you should get out.
Yeah.
Maybe that wasn't a pool that we built, but they call looking for advice. And I would go home at night and think, I will never, ever, ever own a pool. Never.
Well, what about your pool growing up? You said you had an above ground pool.
I had an above ground pool and constant swimmer's ear.
Okay. But you didn't have to take care of it then?
No.
Well, that's because you're too young.
Exactly.
See, I grew up in the 80s. I think I was 8 years old. I remember when we had an above ground pool, and I lived in South Fulton, and I remember my mom, well, all right, we're out of chemicals for the pool. Everybody load up. We're going out to Troy to Aloha.
Right.
So that was my first experience with Aloha. It was a long way off. We would be driving out to Troy to go get all the chemicals. But then, because like all 80s children, I got to participate in I had to put the chlorine in and measure it. I had to do the pool tests with the
Gen
little
X.
thing. I did all that. I was 8 to 10 years old doing all that.
I hate it.
One of my favorite memories. My dad will never listen to this, but I was mowing the lawn at like 9 or 10 years old on the mower on the hill, and my dad's waving at me sitting in the pool. He was on a raft, and I drive the mower all the way up there, and it's like 120 degrees in Tennessee heat, and I drive all the way up there. Yes, Dad. And he's like, here, go fill up my coffee, bring it out to me. Hands it to me over the edge of the pool, and I remember thinking, college or prison? So we went, and I went in there and got him more coffee or whatever, and he's lounging in the pool as I'm. That was the 80s.
Yeah.
So, but I loved the pool, and all my friends, like, we all had pools, and just like you said, mine was round, so we'd get it moving as fast as we could, around, and then you just ride that wave.
Yeah.
And the other thing was getting in the inner tube and bouncing up and down. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't quite as jolly as back then, but I still had a little bit, with the inner tube.
About the same.
You jump up and down and get the waves going to the point where the whole thing is doing this.
Oh, man.
Looking for a repair for. And then later in high school, we had an in-ground pool. And so I got to, and that, believe it or not, wasn't even as fun to me because I couldn't do all that.
Oh, yeah.
You could still do the bounce.
You felt like it was a downgrade.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, we can't even get the current going in this thing. It's stupid. It's all funny. Concrete. And,
Well, see, I used to go, when we would go on vacation, I'd swim in a concrete pool, which was more expensive than the pool that we had at home, but I thought this is a cheap pool because it was so rough. Rough on your feet and all that. And that vinyl pool, you just felt so smooth and so perfect, And
same.
However, I did a little bit of that vacuum. I had to vacuum my own pool when I was young, and I was, while you were talking about that, I was trying to reflect on, did my dad ever teach me? And if he did he come out and do it for me once? Or how to vacuum the pool, how to prime the hose, and how to go through the motions on that? Or did I learn it the hard way, or what? But I mean, it sucked. I mean, vacuuming a pool sucked.
Oh yeah.
And because always now, when I tell people about where to put their filter system, if I'm out, in somebody's yard and they say, "Oh, I want it way over here," like David James, I remember working on his pool. You had to go around his garage, way back and around, and come back in. And it was quiet out there. Around his pool, you couldn't hear anything, but you had to do all that, all that traveling, everything. You turn it on, you think you had it primed and think you had it going, you start the vacuum, and then you have to go. Well, I had to do that at my dad's. My dad had a little pool house. So it's the same thing, just a little closer. You think you got it going and all, and then you have too much air in the hose, and it loses prime, and man, I couldn't have hated vacuuming. I would rather mowed the lawn than I had back in the pool because I didn't know how. And
we could have traded. Because
9 or 10 years old. I don't know at what age you start understanding concepts, so I don't know if it was just that. Because I drove a tractor when I was 9 or 10 years old, so that's just that what we did back in that day, and I'm sure you did.
Oh yeah,
as well. But vacuuming, I was thinking. Kind of the same. Like, this sucks,
I'm so glad I missed that.
We all.
Glad I missed that.
But you know what I don't remember? Ever having a problem with either of the pools. Not a single one. I don't remember ever having and of course I was a kid, so who knows?
Right. Oh, yeah,
it's not like I had to pay for it. I was too busy working in the steel mill at age 9. In 2 weeks, they made me the floor manager. Anyway, I'm just kidding. But that's what it sounds like. I always tell my kids how all the how the hardships of I used to walk uphill 20 miles both ways.
So glad not to have to deal with that.
Barefooted, right?
But I don't remember anything ever going wrong with it or us not swimming. It was every summer growing up, and I don't remember having to shut it down. The biggest issue was we'd open the pool and there was algae. It was a green pool because
haven't had to deal with that yet.
I think I've diagnosed that. I think they had a mesh safety cover.
We did,
yeah, and then so the sun shines through it, and we put it to bed and open it up in May or 1st of June, and boom.
Haven't had to deal with that.
Fast forward to today, though. I mean,
I'm spoiled and I love it.
Yeah,
so perfectly happy. Yeah.
So what's different?
Well, I don't know. I didn't know one back then. I will say that I don't vacuum. I robot, drop them in there. Now, one of I do enjoy, and I didn't think that I would, because again, going back to pools, when I would use pools was getting swimming trunks and getting 2 towels, one to use and one to keep in the car so you didn't get the seat wet. Mm-hmm. When you get like that was my pools. We never did city pools or anything like that, but we had a friend that had a pool, and we wanted in-ground life, we'd go there. But I mentioned the above ground, and I'll bet we had that thing. I don't know that it probably lasted one swimming season, so to speak. But yeah, the getting through. It sounds cliche, but being able to see, because when I started in service department and then moved to some various other departments that we had, being able to see some of the retail, hear some of the retail folks that would talk about how much they love their pool, because that's where you get a lot of the good stuff. You rarely get very many good stories from service unless we fix something. But again, just like you joked, but it's the truth. Nobody's ever calling you and be like, "Man, I just wanted you to know that my pool's great and thank you." Like, no one's ever going to do that. But you get a lot of that when you get a good water sample into retail and they're like, "It's great. I just want to make sure I'm good." And or they'll pull out their phone and they're showing their kids jumping in the pool. And it's like, "Yeah, we just had a pool party. Check this out." And you're like, oh, okay. You see some of the things, some reviews we get on. It was like, okay. And one thing led to another, and we had a liner out in the warehouse, and it's like, tell you what, I'll just put that at my house, and we'll see what happens. And it's absolutely, Brad and I had this conversation before, but it changes the whole concept of pool when your shower is 16 feet from it. Like knowing that, it took a while for me, even with Jensen, who's a fish now. He loves it. Yeah. But all those years of using someone else's pool, when you finally have your own pool, like it was such a thing. It was such an ordeal and a thing you had to do versus we're sitting at the house on a Saturday night and it's 9:30 and just like, I want to go jump in the pool. And you're like, well, okay.
Right.
Jump. That's fine. Like it took a while to get like, you can do that. Go do that. And then then you jump out and get in the shower and go to bed. Like sleeping 16 feet from your pool is totally different than having to pick everything up, pack everything up, drive it across town, be there, knowing you got to get enough time where you can get home and versus I'm going to go jump in real quick, do a couple laps. And then that made all the difference in the world.
And you've got young kids still. So you're going to have pool and they're going to learn to swim. And I just want to say one thing about that, because growing up with a pool is probably the reason I was in the Marines instead of the Army or some lesser service. Sorry, I'm just playing around, Larry. I'm just messing around. And because swimming was a huge part. And, I qualified in boot camp the highest you could for swimming because I grew up swimming every day in a pool. Like all my summers was just swim. So that made me, and I remember in boot camp, a whole lot of people were sitting over there and that's where they fell because they didn't get through the swim qual. They had to, so they spent like an extra week or two learning how to swim.
I'll be dang.
So you got to swim in the Marines and the Army.
Yeah.
We never got near a pool, man.
I knew that shots were fired, but I didn't realize that.
We
Close range here.
Right. Yeah. No, I didn't realize that you were an Army veteran.
Well, semi-Army, went through the whole Army basic training.
It counts.
NG, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, don't denigrate your service. It counts.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you both. Sorry, I didn't know that about you, Larry.
You're going to lose your headset. Do you feel that? Yeah, pull them up. Got it.
That's the proper Army way to wear it.
Is it? Hanging on, hang loose.
So I was going to comment. I think it's a little late in the conversation, but you said no one ever calls. On a rare occasion, and it's typically a customer that had a bad experience along the way or gave me a little bit of hell along the way. On a rare occasion, on a summer day, it is hot outside, it's nice swim weather, I'll get a phone call, and it'll be somebody saying, Brad, I just want you to know that I love my pool.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Very rare, but my favorite response is, ma'am, I'm sorry, but you've got the wrong number.
Yeah.
I only take complaints on this line here.
Well, and we do have a customer every year. Almost set your watch by it. Probably 4 or 5 days before Christmas, you're going to get a Christmas basket that's got all the things.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
And you'll text the service guys, "Hey, the basket's here." It's like, yes. Yeah. And that, I mean, those are customers that you know that made the right impression. Right. Not that I'm not saying that the customers that have problems are bad customers, but when you see that there's as much good as there is bad.
Yeah.
Because we have turned a lot of frowns upside down, so to speak. But man,
is it that, or does that lady just know how to get things done?
Either way. No, I think she likes our guys.
Oh no, of course,
genuinely.
They definitely. Well, it's just fun to work for fun people. It's fun to work for.
So if other pool owners want to send baskets, the address is no. I'm just
1,400. Okay, yeah.
But I did want to, because you make your number. We talked about this, and you make your number public. Go ahead and throw it out on the podcast too. That's on everything.
731-431-8199. Now you make that line up.
You know how hard it's going to be for me to kind of figure out how to line that up.
Am I doing that
on the screen right where you're pointing? For the folks listening at home on the audio, just envision it. The numbers in whichever way you want, and then that way we'll have to do that.
I do.
You just put it in your hands like this.
And sometimes I will put it. All the time I'll put it in a bad review because, and sometimes when people already have my number and they give me that review, I'm thinking, man, you know me, I would gladly just take care of whatever it is. But I always make sure in a bad review that other people that read the review can see that I'm after nothing but theirs.
That's not why you do it. That's not why you do it.
I do it for other people.
It's the customer at hand.
No,
I've seen you on more than one occasion. It's the customer at hand. It's not the show of it. It's the actual.
Because you really are genuinely trying to solve that problem.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, it's also, I don't know, that whole 1-star thing, and I just sometimes people are deservingly mad. I'll say, and I just want them to just call that number 731-431-8199 because I'll take care of every, and I've come to realize I don't want 1-star reviews, but I've come to look at it like it is the opportunity to me of a lifetime, and that's a little hyperbole, but. And I have an opportunity to meet somebody because 7 out of 10 times these are good people that we just did them wrong. When I get a chance, when they do that, I'd so much rather them do that than to go away quietly because I've been extremely guilty of going away quietly and just not messing with them anymore. And now I feel bad when I do that. So Now, and if I have a bad experience, I'll try to find a way somewhere in the middle of a 1-star and calling somebody's cell to just say, I want to give you an opportunity, and because I think that's
that's
a greatest opportunity is give me that 1 star.
That's a business owner. That's the mentality of a business owner. You want,
it should be,
because you want to give other people, the business owner. You understand. It's kind of like when you've been a waiter or a waitress, you tip more because you understand what went into that, and so you want to give that owner that did something that opportunity to get it right with you as a customer, and that's all you're offering our customers is the opportunity to have you get it right for them.
It took me a while to get my brain wrapped 100% around it, and so I've been defensive, and I've just come to realize that it's just not that way at all. It is a gift when somebody. I'd so much rather than call me and give me that gift on my phone line, but I'll take it any way I can. Just a chance to fix.
And two, it's going back to working in service, like new pool owners, and even myself. You started watching. It's a little bit about education. Well, it's probably a lot about education, but it appeared like everything that happened with the pool was going to be an incredibly horrible expense. Like there is nothing worse than walking up to a pool and seeing that the liner's floated, and you think, "Oh, well, now I've got to pull this thing out of the ground. It's over. It's over." I would get people that would text our line and be like, "How much is this going to cost me?" I was like, "Well, a visit." Like, what do you mean a visit? Like, I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. Oh, my jet stopped. What am I going to do? It's like it's not as bad as you think it is. But being a pool owner, even as someone who's in this business, your first instinct is to go, oh no, what does that mean? Oh, what does that mean?
Got to tear it out and start over.
It's not that. First of all, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay, unless you don't winterize it.
So how much more comfortable do you feel after owning a pool for 3 years and talking to somebody with problems? I find that to be a huge advantage.
Game changer.
If I'm not just talking about something I've not had hands on, I've not had issues with, only to find out that, like Brad, some of you guys are saying, it's not that big a deal. It's a thing.
Here's what I can tell you. And it's real life experience at I don't know, it's probably 12:30 at night or 12:30 in the morning, I guess, if you say it that way. But I had been away. I think it may have been a work trip, but I had been away, and it had been an extended period of time. And when we got back, the water level, because it had been incredibly hot, had gotten below where it needed to, and so the pump had lost prime and it basically shut off. And I was like, because Amberly didn't know. That's my wife. She didn't know how to do all the things, and she's better now. But it got to the point where it was solo, and then of course got it turned on, and then the bubbles are spitting out, and you're like, okay, I've got this going. Well, my son pitter patted across. This is middle of the night. Pitter patted across. He was like, you just got to call Mr. Brad. Call Mr. Brad, because you don't know what you're doing. And I was like, wait a minute. I may have this. And of course, before it was all said and done, I was able to shut it all off, run it through the main drains. And so to your point, I would feel confident in most scenarios to tell a customer, here's what you got to do.
So having said that, customers after year one, I'm going to tell them there's not going to be a lot I can tell you about your pool, because you're going to know.
100%.
You're going to know 100%. What to do when that happens.
Because you could have told me, or you could have showed me. That's it. You could have told me or showed me a video, and it's nothing like standing in front of it going, okay, when I do this, that happens. So when I do this, that happens. That's okay. I got this.
So after one season, the fear maybe that some people have of owning a pool, it's gone.
100%.
I mean, we got this. You can almost look at the water, do a little test yourself. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you just get it after one full season.
But now I will say, with pool ownership, I won't call it a headache, because I wanted it, and I'm glad the investment is there. But it's owning it feels different just from what I just said. Like, it's something that has to be on your mind. You know, it's basically a pet. If that makes any sense, because you have to feed it, you have to clean it, you gotta make sure it's running and make sure everything's working like it should be, and it does require some attention. But at first, that was what got me more than anything. Like after seeing all the horror stories and getting myself through the point where it's like, okay, I see more good than bad. And the other thing was my kid. When we were on a trip and he got into what he called the hot pool, the spa, and then the regular pools, like he was in, and I knew it would get used. It was all about the kid at that point. But getting it after the horror stories died out, seeing the happy, the next thing to overcome was, how do I take care of this thing? How do I take care of this thing? Like backwashing. Well, I don't want to touch anything on that pad. I don't want to come within a foot of that pad, because I have the automation system too, where you can program it to do things. And I knew anything I touched was going to probably render some terrible results. It's something as simple as backwashing, but
no different than anything else we own or go through in life. I remember a story my brother told after having their first child down in Houston, Texas. My mom flew down. After about 7 or 8 days, she flies back. They said they put little Jenny right out in the floor right there in her bassinet, one on either side, and just started crying, going, what are we going to do? You figure it out.
You do.
You just figure it out.
And it's just second nature now.
Yeah.
It's not even a...
Yeah. And if we do our job, our baby doesn't come with instructions, but our pools definitely do. Yeah.
Right.
Pool does.
Right.
Looking at the time, I'm wondering.
Yeah, I was going to say, I always say that it takes about 1 year to get used to anything. You have to go through the full cycle. And with that being said, are there any final thoughts on the pool ownership? We've just been reminiscing about pools or talking about our current pools.
Or anything that you would recommend. And without it sounding like a sales pitch, you guys have done an excellent job of being real, and that's what we're trying to do here. But I mean, what would you say from the bottom of the heart? Not trying to sell a pool or anything, but advice that you would give, because you've had customers come to you and say, well, I wish I would have, or I wish y'all would have for me. What would you say? What would be what would you recommend to advise somebody about? Is that okay, John?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll kick it off. I tell customers all the time that pools of today are like automobiles. They're like a lot of other things. They're not your parents' automobiles and other things they might buy. Like Jamie mentioned, a robot, God, it's a lifesaver. Didn't have them back maybe when we were younger. Sanitizing systems, oh gosh, you don't have to use 3-inch chlorine tablets that you can smell when somebody pulls in your driveway. No, the water shouldn't, with just a little attention, it's not going to turn green. Ways to keep it from turning green over the winter. Everything evolves, and I think the pool industry has evolved, and there's just not that much to do to upkeep anymore. So
it's not like it was when we were kids.
If that's one of your fears from buying a pool, we can get rid of all that.
Nice.
Splurge, this may not be the right words, splurge for the automation.
Okay.
Like you can go as little tech or as much tech as you want to these days. And the automation side of things, to where it'll alert me if things aren't the way they should be. It'll alert me if my pump shuts off. It'll alert me of different things that are happening. And I'm a little bougie in the tech world. I'm not going to lie, but I can say, hey Alexa, it's time to swim, and everything turns on and the deck jets go, and it's worth it. It's worth it to have when you're. It makes for a worry-free environment even more than what we were talking about, because there's so much technology with it that will let you know and adds a little flair. My lights dance around to some music, and the kid loves it. The kid loves it.
Been wanting to see a video on that for about 2 years now.
It's I got to fix one of my life. I'm particular about it.
I know where you get that fixed,
but it is splurge for the automation.
All right. I guess my advice, since I was also giving my 2 cents on this with pool ownership, would be let your kid finish mowing before you call them in to go get you. Just let them just do what you told them to do in the first place. Go get your own coffee, your own, or think ahead and bring out the cooler next to the pool.
That was motivational stuff right there. It was like when I grow up.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, thanks for joining us on another Aloha Deep Dive podcast. We hope that you've enjoyed this one. It's a little more relaxed than some of the other ones we've done. I think we're kind of getting into our groove here. Hopefully, it brought you value, and if it did, then like and subscribe and share with your friends. Tell them, if you're thinking about a pool.
Oh, and comment below. Oh, please comment below, especially not negative. No, I don't care.
Negative comment. We'll answer.
I'll put my number back up.
There you go. So thanks for swimming with us today. Yeah, there we go. Thanks for swimming with us.
I think so.
Yeah,
we're going to work on that. We're going to put that one on the table.
Actually, we might just go 300 podcasts later, never finding one, come up with a new one every time. I don't know.
Well, I think this one went swimmingly.
There you
go. Oh, look at that.
All right. We're splashing out of here.